I'm Richard Cobbs. I'm 68 years old. I'll be 69 in February. February 14th, Valentine's Day, by the way. When I was in the United States, the work that I did in order to make money was mostly carpentry type work, mostly remodeling rather than building new, although I have built, I don't know, approaching 30 new houses, somewhere around in there. That's what I had to do to make a living, to pay my bills. Every once in a while I would take off as much as a year to work on various inventions. I generally had to try to pick the easiest one to do, and have never been able to pursue some of the stuff I'd really like to do, like a vane type rotary engine that I've been working on in my head for over 10 years. I grew up in Massachusetts, western Massachusetts, somewhat close to the Vermont-New Hampshire border, in a town called Amherst, Mass. Been through 2 divorces. Both times I had to give up the house that I had lived in, and the second one, house that I had built. So I've started over, I don't know, completely started over probably 5 times in my life. I have a son that, I don't know his age, unfortunately. I think he was born in '72, if I remember right. So he's around, 40, early 40s. Married to a wonderful woman who has a doctorate in education. They've got a child who's now, I believe, 7 maybe? Yeah. Audrey, pardon me. Also got a daughter, married. She has a son that is around the same age, and a brand new, like, 6-month-old baby, something like that. She had lived in Myrtle Beach for a while and has just recently moved to Florida, St. Augustine. I do try to call them every Sunday. Usually my son is able to answer the phone. My daughter, I don't know, she seldom gets back to me, so I don't know. I knew that the money that I had paid into Social Security was not enough to live any kind of a decent living in the United States as I got older, and my initial plan was to go to Costa Rica. I had taken weekly vacations, once a year to Costa Rica 4 times, and really liked it. Met some people that I really liked and everything. But I saw the area that I went to, a place called Playa de Coca, where the first time I went there it was, kind of quiet. Had a good fishing business and everything. Not a whole lot of tourists. And then the next year there were twice as many tourists, and they started building condominiums that year. And, well, for instance, they offered me a condominium for $30,000. The next year, more tourists, more condos. The 4th time that I went there, that same condo they wanted $150,000 for, in a period of almost 2 years, a little bit over 2 years. So I still had in my mind that I was going to find a cheap place, and build my own place, and that's where I was headed. And I spent almost 2 years working nights and weekends on my camper, and built a VW dune buggy, and headed in this direction. Ran into numerous problems at borders and other things. Got sidetracked and robbed, and ended up spending a year in Honduras. Tried to get residency in Honduras, and found that I needed at least $1,500 a month to be a permanent resident there, and I only make $600 a month. So some people were telling me they were influential, they could get me the retirement no problem, and of course wanted money up front. Finally, after a few of them, I said, I'm not doing this anymore. and then had problems where I was working and everything, and had found out that the only place that will legally accept a pensioner on $600 a month, there's two places in the Americas, Nicaragua and Haiti, and that's why I came to Nicaragua. Well, I think it takes a strange type of person to want to come here. Nicaragua, northern Nicaragua anyways, appears to be at least 50 years behind the technology of the average place in the United States. They still work with oxen, they ride donkeys everywhere. It's different. It's different. I'm used to doing remodeling work and going to Lowe's or Home Depot and in and out the door in half an hour with 20 different things. Here, if you want 20 different things, you're going to spend 20 different weeks trying to find those things because you just can't find them. To buy any simple thing that you'd get in the United States, you might have to go to 10 different stores and maybe still not find it. So, very different. I miss 90% of what's going on because I don't speak Spanish. It's just, if you're a gringo, you know, they figure you got more money and they will try to shortchange you and everything else, and much of the time they get away with it with me because I haven't taken the time to, you know, figure out too much about the exchange rate, and certainly don't know the language well or anything like that. Yeah, they try to take advantage of it. I don't know what I miss in the United States. I miss seeing my kids, but even if I were in the United States, you know, I don't want to live with them. You know, and they don't want me to live with them. Yeah, I probably wouldn't see them that often anyways. In the United States, I don't know, I'd be living under a bridge or something. $600 a month just doesn't go far. In a few years in the United States, I'd have to go into an old age home. Well, that's just not going to happen. The American dream is still there, but I think it's more elusive than it was 30, 40 years ago. Probably 70, 80 years ago, there was what they call the Horatio Alger story, where, you know, anybody could start off as a shoeshine boy or something like that and become president of the bank. Well, today that just isn't going to happen. No way. The cost of education, it's very high. In my case, if I hadn't gone in the service, I never could have gone to college. I never could have bought my first house. You know, the United States is built on immigrants. I mean, there's no original United Stateser. You know, there are the American Indians, but we've just forced them out of everything, and they just don't amount to much anymore. Immigration to the United States should be easier. Now that I'm here and have gone through all of my stuff here, I can definitely sympathize with anybody trying to immigrate to the United States. The process has to be much, much worse than here. And here it's not good at all. It's very slow. And, most of the time I have no idea what's going on. So anybody that doesn't speak English going to the United States, they do have an awful lot of stuff in Spanish now, so you know, I'm sure that would help an awful lot for Spanish-speaking people. But still, the process has to be tough. And you can't blame somebody for trying to support his family. Here in Nicaragua, I believe the second largest money coming into the country is remittances, which is people from Nicaragua going to the United States, working and sending money back to their families. Well, what's better than that? I mean, that's family. You know? I have a lot of sympathy for them because somehow they're sending money back. They've probably got the lowest paid jobs in the United States, and they're still able to send money back. Pretty tough. I haven't voted for 20 years, more than that. No sense in me voting. My little vote doesn't account for anything. And the whole system, I mean, how, how can you say it's not corrupt when it costs $1 billion to get a president in and he makes, what, $400,000 a year? I mean, it's not right. Republicans are so stupid you can't change them. I cannot believe how they can still, you know, cling to this whole thing when it's, you know, time after time been demonstrated that what they're trying to do just doesn't work. I see it going downhill. I watched the manufacturing move from the United States to actually other countries before China. With no manufacturing, I don't see how a country can exist. I don't see how they're ever going to get out of it without a huge depression, not a recession, a depression. In my mind, I don't understand. I mean, how much steak can you eat? How big does your yacht need to be? Just doesn't make any sense when 1% of the population has what, 50% of the money? It's just ridiculous. Once you get it, you end up, okay, you got a big house, but you never use this room here that probably initially cost you $10,000, but you didn't have the cash, so you had to mortgage it. So by the time you've paid that off, it's not $10,000, it's $30,000 for a room you never use. Down here, $30,000 is going to buy you a damn nice house. Hopefully I'll have a, you know, place where I can, you know, grow some vegetables and have a decent house to live in and be able to entertain some friends and everything. Hopefully I will have a young lady with me full time and all of that. Possibly married again. I'm open for it.